Good morning, sir.
Good morning, friends. Good morning.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing well, sir. Just outside somewhere I'm traveling. So there might be some disturbance, but I'm here
Abs-
only with you.
Absolutely no issue. Somebody asked to start meeting summary.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. We will start at 12:05.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yes, friends, we'll start now. There are about 16 participants, and we should do justice to those who have come in time. I hope you all agree with me. Should we start?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, right. So, friends, this will be our fifth session. We have done 4 sessions, and we are learning in this paper the facilitation skills. skills of a trainer. So, and we'll be revising what we have learned in the process of lecture. Today also I'll be delivering the lecture with the help of a PowerPoint. So let us share the PowerPoint. Yes. So as you can see, it is, you can see now, felicitation skills. Now my question is, what exactly, some of you could answer, is the intention of this paper? Because I was going through the syllabus, what we have learned, 4 papers, and one thing is very clear. There is an intention of this paper. What does the paper intend to do? It's a very simple question, and the answer is also very simple.
Sir, can you repeat the question once again?
I said, what is the intention of this paper? Because when we study something, the paper intends to do something. Like mathematics, it wants to improve your mathematical skill. Like this paper, facilitation skills, has an intention, as an aim, as an objective. After 4 papers, you must have understood, or you can try to understand, what is the objective or intention of this paper.
Sir, I think so. It's to do the knowledge transfer in a better and effective manner. How we are going to present it. So I think so
Yes.
that should be the intention of this paper.
Yes, very good, very good. Well said, well said. Shivani has well said, to make a complete person. Anybody else?
Sir, Subhashini here.
Yes, please.
Facilitation skills means after certain point of time, maybe a trainer needs to upgrade himself or herself to be a facilitator. So it becomes a conversation between the participant and the facilitator. So that mode of transformation is required for a trainer is what I feel.
Very good. You have added to what Shivani has said. Wonderful. Very good, Subhashini. Anybody else? Because I wanted
Yes,
to
sir.
understand.
Well,
Yes, please.
quickly
Yes,
chip in.
please. Yes.
So, sir, that's the primary difference between training and facilitation. So training is more pedagogical, and facilitation is follows the andragogical process. So it is more of driving conversation, encouraging discussion, opinion sharing, knowledge sharing. So that's the idea. So here, the knowledge won't be shared by one person. So it is a collective effort.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Sharing of knowledge. You have added to what the 2 other participants have already. Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Pillai. Anybody else before we go to the presentation? Quickly, because this kind of input helps a lot when we discuss the presentation.
What I get to know from the previous sessions, sir, it
Yeah.
is more of conducting the sessions, not for the knowledge, more of how to conduct the sessions proactively.
Okay. So ultimately, this paper wants you to become a better or best trainer.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, for that, you need knowledge, you need inputs, you need methodologies, you need skills, and you need inputs. So what Mr. Pillai has said, or what Subhashini has said, or earlier our first person. Very good. Thank you very much. Unless anybody else wants to share. One more sharing, and then we'll go ahead.
Sir, Apurva
Yes,
here.
please. Miss Apurva Gowde. Yeah, please.
Apurva. So, sir, as basically in last semester, we have seen that how there are different types of learners. So, same way to address all the learners in different way, our facilitation skills should be developed in order to have a two-way communication, which is being conducted or which is being considered into this paper or paper 5 specifically for developing
Very
the
good.
facilitation skills.
Yes, it's a matter of development. Very good. Okay, friends. So we start now. Wonderful. Thank you all, the 5 arts persons who have answered. Your answers have made me a better understanding person about the student's perception. Thank you very much. Today my throat is not well, so time to time I'll be sipping hot water with green tea. Thank you. Okay, friends. The aim of today's class is to understand, number one, understanding the determinants and the constituents of training styles through case identifying the right training style. That's why the question that I posed, what did we understand in the 4 sessions? So determinants and constituents of training styles. We'll take up a case, very good real life case, a top engineering company of India, and then apply whatever we learned here and how the training methodology was implemented there. So that is first aim. Second aim is understanding, identifying the right training style through case study. Now you know the importance of case study. So right training style. Okay. Now here comes determinants of training styles. There may be some revision also. Learners' characteristics, training objectives, training environment, organizational culture, learners' demographics, or the learning characteristics, learners' characteristics. What is the objective of the training? What is the environment of the training? Organizational culture. And of course, learners' demographics. Now, when we come to learners' characteristics, we have seen last class, Vakar. Different individuals have distinct preferences for how they learn best. This is the most important thing for a trainer like you to keep in mind. That the people sitting in front of you or the people who have come to you to take a training may not have a uniform learning preference. Every individual have a different learning preference. One that we have to keep in mind. That is one thing. Some may prefer visual aids, while others might benefit more from hands-on practice. And surprisingly, both these groups are present in front of you simultaneously. So it's not that you can only go for visual aids or you will go only by hands-on practice. You have to amalgamate both. Training objectives, nature of content, the type of content being taught can determine the most effective training style. So what is the nature of the content? What do we want to intend to transform from us to them? So that type of content, like as I said, we have discussed so many times, a lecture and a training or a facilitation, the 3 difference. So whether you are going by a lecture method or a training method or a facilitation method, and all of you have said facilitation is a little higher than training when it comes to interaction. It's more on a 2-way communication, sharing, not just flowing from one point to another. So nature of content is very important. For instance, training skills may benefit from hands-on training, and conceptual knowledge might be best conveyed through lectures or reading. Now today, when we are sitting on this online, we cannot do hands-on training. What I'm trying to do is I'm passing on the conceptual knowledge to you all. Since you are all experienced people having a higher level of knowledge, it goes easy for you to understand what I'm trying to explain, what I'm trying to transform from my end to your end. So that is conceptual knowledge. Technical skill one side. For technical skill, you need hands-on training. Conceptual knowledge can be passed on by lecture methods. So training objectives. Learning outcomes. What is the desire that after a training period, you intend the trainees to know the desired outcome of the training, that is maybe skill acquisition, behavioral change can influence the choice of training. style. I recently went to a hospital for training on communication skill. I said I need 1.5 hours. They asked me, why 1.5 hours? Why don't you take 1 hour? I told them, when a new trainer comes to you, your staff, many times, many staff members think, oh, what is so great about this man? What is he going to teach? I said, it takes me half an hour to break that logjam, break that wall that a trainee has created between him and the trainer. I have to open up his mind and make him ready to accept the new ideas. For that, I need half an hour. Once he or she has opened her mind and shown his or her acceptance for new ideas, then my actual training starts. I said that will be only 1 hour. But half an hour is to create the atmosphere, create the environment, make that person understand, make that person believe that he can get some ideas from me. So like that, the learning outcome, what is the learning outcome? It's just not putting some words and sentences onto the ears of the listener. No, we have to decide what should be the learning outcome. If I'm trying to teach time management, my intention is after the training program, at least 50% of the trainees should change 50% of their time management habits. If this is my intention, then the importance of the training will be well understood by the trainees. So learning outcome is very important. Training environment. What kind of training environment we keep? We have discussed this. Keeping the system around in front of the flow charts or in front of the electronic boards. The availability of resources such as technology, materials, and facilities can impact the choice of training methods. For example, online tools might be used if technology is readily available. Now, if we want to involve some remote village people where there is no, what you call, IT tower, mobile tower, we cannot expect them to be connected with us unless we provide at least some portable connectivity there. So availability of technology is important. If the technology is not there, we take the material to that village. Most of the time in many of the industries, what do? Even if it is in a remote area, we have a very good training facility there, and we transport the material to that facilitation center. So online tools or other material is very important. The training style will be decided by training environment. It also goes to say that the setting, the context in which the training takes place, classroom or virtual environment. Now we are having a virtual environment. So if somebody is going from behind me or behind you, somebody is continuously walking, then everybody will get distracted. Even if you are on online virtual environment. So most of you have, like Mr. Pradeep Pillai has blurred the background. Very good. So it doesn't disturb. Like that, the setting is very important, and that decides the training style. Okay. Then organizational culture. Every industry, every organization, every educational institution has its own organization culture. And each industry, each organization, each institute differs from the other institute in this aspect. But year after year, generation from generation. So the culture is passed on. It is impossible for you or me to expect them to do something which they have never done before. I'll come to it, the details. So we have to respect and understand the organizational culture. The organization's culture and values can influence the training methods, because when you go to, I had once gone to CSR of this central industrial CISF force to train. Generally, when we say share or shairi, people clap. I found they were not clapping. Then I was told they will clap only when their commander allows them to clap. They will clap at a particular gap. The discipline in that armed force is that they cannot do anything. They will not do anything as long as the speaker is speaking. So that was something new for me, because generally as speakers, we expect that time to time when we are speaking and we are quoting some great speaker, great person, there should be an applause. So that culture you have to understand, organization's culture. Now, there are two types of cultures we have tried to identify. One is traditional organization. In India, we have some traditional organization. The organization is structured, hierarchy is there. The top boss to immediate boss to next boss to shop floor. Like that, the ideas will percolate. And they are very formal. They will address each other in a formal way. So this is what we call as traditional organization. And what is they have, as I said, they follow formal methods. And we have the modern methods, which are more placed in America. They're interactive and creative. They won't bother what has been done by the previous hierarchy. They won't bother what was done yesterday. Today, there needs to be an innovation, a new method. They'll all welcome it. And it is interactive. Remember, all research institutions have to be interactive. Unless they're interactive, there will be no innovation. In India, for example, railways, Indian railways, are traditional organization. Even their drawings are different from other organizations. Good or bad, I'm not saying. They may be good, they may be something bad. No, but they are working. And they have that traditional organization, they are structured, they have formal methods. But when you go to any IT sector company in Bangalore or Hyderabad or Chennai, they don't follow any formal structure, formal methods. They don't even formal attire. Even timings are not formal. Now, in that, when you are going to a railway unit to give a training, you have to be a little bit formal. But when you are going to an IT sector, no formalities. And be interactive, do what the trainees are doing, try to understand what is their receptivity, try to understand what is their culture. Be yourself innovative because they are innovative. Try to understand. In the IT sector, the softwares, they change every 6 months. The big change. What was 2 years back is now useless. So as the software is changing, they have to be continuously innovative, trying to find out new softwares required by the industry. Now, this leaves very little scope for being formal or being structural. You have to be innovative, you have to be creative, and you have to be interactive. So organizational culture differs. Being a facilitator, you must be aware of this. That is what I wanted to say. Thank you. Now, very important thing, learner demographics. You know, what is the biggest identity of India? Nowhere in the world, there is so much diversity in a single mass of land. I mean, South Asia, I see. So much of diversity, 1,500 languages, every religion, different clothing pattern, different food habits, different speaking habits. So much of difference is there. If you go to Mumbai, the language is different, but if you just move 100 kilometers away from Mumbai, the language is different. Language of Delhi is different, language of Gurgaon is different. So learner demographics are very important. Age and experience level. Different age groups and experience levels might have varying preferences and learning needs. Today, when you go to an industry, the youngest person could be 21-year-old, because it is 21 or 22 where a person becomes a graduate. But the oldest person in that organization could be even 70 years old, having come on an extension. Now, the preference of a 22-year-old person is absolutely different and diametrically opposite to what a 70-year-old person demands. The 70-year-old person is not a product of the modern society, of the 21st century society. He or she is a product of the bygone era with traditional values. He or she is more comfortable taking pen in hand and trying to make notes on a piece of paper. But a 22-year-old boy or a girl is absolutely not comfortable every time trying to go into pen and paper. He or she is absolutely comfortable on the mobile. They're noting on mobile. Everything takes place on mobile. So that learner's preference will change. Now, as I told, younger employees, anybody who is below 30 is very comfortable and very happy with digital tools on the laptop, on the internet, on the mobile phone, everything with pen drive, tablets. They're very comfortable and they feel at home. You don't have to tell them what to do. They know what to do. So younger employees, they prefer digital tools. But older employees, I said, the employees who were born somewhere between 1960 to somewhere 1980, they will prefer traditional methods. They'll still today prefer a whiteboard and a marker. They will not say no to the smart board. They will not say no because they've understood the importance of smart board. But they will not be happy if there is not a piece of paper in front of them. They will not be comfortable if they're not able to write something. So again, learners' demographics, you have to understand when you go to a particular organization. Cultural background, as I said, India has the greatest diversity in the world. Cultural differences can influence how individuals respond to different training methods, necessitating culturally sensitive approaches. I'll tell you a big difference. Trainees from Hyderabad, Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, they'll be very comfortable sitting 1 hour, 2 hours and listening to lectures, seeing the smart board with the mobile phones, fine. But the moment you get people from Northeast, from Sikkim, Nagaland, Manipur, all these people, they cannot sit for long hours. And they are very happy if there is music in between, a break. And they don't ask too many questions. All these people from Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, Bangalore, they will ask number of questions. But the Northeast people may not ask them. They will just smile. When they understand, they smile. So looking at their smile, you have to make it that, yeah, they have understood. But people from our metropolitan cities, they'll express, yes, very good. Yes, sir. They have understood. Or they will ask questions. So cultural background also determines the learner demographics. So one has to be very sensitive where you are doing the facilitation or where you are imparting the training. Now, coming to constituents of training styles. Unless you have any questions so far, whatever we have done. So I can just transform some hot water into the cup. Yes, friends, any questions?
Yes, sir. Everything is clear.
Oh, thank you.
If there's any question, I'll ask.
Oh, thank you. And I'm having some throat problem. So I know the delivery is not that efficient.
It is efficient, sir, but please take care of your throat.
Thank you. Okay, friends. So we'll go ahead. Thank you, Shivani. Thank you. Some constituents of training styles, as you know, delivery method. How you do it? We have done in the last 4 sessions, we have seen content presentation. Again, very important aspect. Learning activities. The first 2 belong to the trainer. Learning activities, learner, and of course, feedback mechanism. Just now what we are doing, what I got from Shivani. what I got from Mr. Pillai or what I got from Mr. Anas Rao. Feedback, immediate feedback. It's a wonderful thing. Whenever you take feedback during the training, it enhances your training capability and the effectiveness of the training. And of course, the most important thing, follow-up and reinforcement. We'll come to it later on. We'll take one by one. Delivery methods, lectures and presentations, both often used for conveying large amounts of information quickly, typically benefiting auditory and reading writing learners. You can go back when you go home, our WAKAR work learning systems that we can. So lectures and presentation, workshops and seminars. Now by now you have understood the difference between lectures, workshops and seminars. Workshops are more interactive sessions that allow for discussion and practical exercises suitable for a mix of learning styles. Now, remember one thing, when you are delivering a lecture and doing interactions, or with the help of a chart, flip chart, you are asking them to be active also. You are implementing a number of styles. For you may not even realize that while delivering a lecture, you have asked some questions to some participants, they have answered, so they have given a feedback. And if you have asked a group of trainees to just make a chart, so you have involved them in the activity, it becomes lecture plus workshop plus seminar. So mix of learning styles. E-learning, online modules that can include videos, quizzes that we do many times, and interactive content catering to various learning preferences. What a particular person may like. He or she may not be asking number of questions, but he or she is very comfortable answering on the chat box. So e-learning is also very important. Number 2 is content presentation. As the content presentation has a variety, you are breaking the monotony of presentation. You are breaking the monotony of training. In fact, you are making the training more interesting and more livable. Visual use of charts, graphs, videos, and diagrams to help visual learners understand the material. See, when you are putting something in front of the trainees and you are speaking, something is going into the ears and something is appealing to the eyes. Both the inputs go there into the mind and cement it in the mind. So visual presentations is very important. Charts, graphs, videos, and videos should be very small, not more than 15 seconds. Quick videos and the point delivered. Auditory, incorporation of spoken explanations that we do. Discussions and audio recordings to support auditory learning, as I said. To see something and to listen to something. Reading, writing. Many times, last time when we had a quiz, so you are reading every sentence. Provision of manuals, handouts, and written instructions to cater to the learner who prefer reading and writing. This we have discussed last time. We were discussing work. So when we distribute something, a questionnaire or a feedback form or a case study, you are making the person more and more involved. You are making the person think about it. And after reading that, if the person is asking question, you have completed the circuit. So the training is now complete. So content presentation, reading, of course, then writing, it makes it complete. And definitely, this also we have discussed, anesthetic, hands-on activity. When a group of 4 trainees use a chart, they are not only using their knowledge, they are using their sense of planning like an architect. They are using the interactive skills while making a chart. So hands-on activities, simulations, and role-playing exercises designed for those who learn best through physical activity. We had discussed this, role play. You become manager, you become the worker, you become the visitor, you become the customer, and then interactive sessions between all the time makes you understand the real life situation challenges. So content presentation is very important. Learning activities. Simulations and role playing. They are very interesting and the participants love it. Realistic scenarios where learners can practice skills and apply knowledge in a controlled environment. Controlled environment means in your training arena. Actual scenario will be shop floor. Actual scenario will be the desk of the bank. Actual scenario would be the desk of the insurance corporation. Actual scenario would be your interaction with your prospective buyer or your interaction with your client. That is the actual scenario. Here we say realistic scenarios where enacting the buyer, the seller, the manager, the worker, where learner can practice skills. And everything is taking place in a controlled environment. So that is simulations and role playing. Group discussions and team projects, collaborative activities. Even a chart making is a collaborative activity that encourages interaction and application of concepts. A simple activity like making a song presentation is very, try to understand. You are telling the trainees to choose a song from Indian cinema, any language, that talks of group activity, group dynamics. Now, one song that immediately comes to my mind, Sathi Haath Badhana. Come, friends, let us move together. Sathi Haath Badhana. It's a team activity. He's talking, the singer is talking about team activity. Or what to do when there is a negative happening in front of you. Choose a song. Ruk Jana Nahi. Now, don't stop even when the results are negative. There are songs. There could be songs in any language. So, what you are doing, you are applying the concepts that you have learned. Or when you come to chart making, it's still better. All four people coming together, discussing with each other, trying to accommodate each other's values, each other's ideas, become giving space to each other. That is the wonderful idea of group discussions and team projects. Case studies and problem solving exercises. You give a problem and expect the trainees to solve the problem. So when they solve the problem, they not only interact with the problem, they interact with each other also. They have a communication with each other also. And then they apply their collective minds to solve the problem given to them under a particular case. So real life scenario discussed in a controlled situation where there is a collaborative activity between all the participants. That is what we intend to say. Case studies and problem solving exercises. Then comes feedback mechanism. Quizzes and tests, assessments to evaluate understanding and retention of material. See, whenever you design a quiz, last time I told you, how should the quiz be designed? They should not be very easy for everybody to be able to answer every question, but they should not be very difficult that nobody can answer the question. Both are wrong. Out of 30 people, at least 15 should be able to answer. And out of 30 people, at least 2 should not be able to answer at all. That quiz is very good. Little difficult and easy for answer to everyone. So quiz and test to understand the retention material of the trainees. Surveys and feedback forms. Now, the feedback forms online are so easy now. if you just know the phone numbers of all the 30 trainers, you can in a second send all Google Forms to all the 30 trainers. And in 15 seconds, they can send you the feedback to you. And then you can analyze that and start the training program. Feedback mechanism. Tools to gather learner feedback on effectiveness of the training and identify areas for improvement. Even where the mobiles are not allowed in the training, a simple paper-based feedback form is also fantastic. You have 5 questions, 6 questions, and even interacting on those questions is a learning experience for the entire class. For example, what are the things you're afraid of? Now, somebody says, I'm afraid of snakes. 90% of the class feels happy. Oh, I'm also afraid of the snakes. So that you are making the involvement of the people through the answer of one trainer, one trainee. Like that, when are you happy? When my boss appreciates me. 99% people feel happy when the boss appreciates him or her. So this kind of feedback mechanism takes the training to a higher level. So the question at the very beginning I asked that all these 4 papers and today's paper intends to make you an efficient facilitator. And remember, friends, the first and the most important quality of an expert facilitator is not to bore the trainees. That is the most important precaution a trainer has to take care of. If the people are doing like this, are looking here and there, try to understand, make it possible that no, the limit is crossed, either give a tea break or some break, or bring a new element into your discourse. Fortunately, it has never happened with me, but even I found once one young girl sleeping in my class. I said, I never have any problem with the people who sleep in my class because they are the people who don't disturb the world. That girl immediately stood up. No, I was not sleeping. So feedback makes you an expert trainer, makes you a better trainer, makes you a better facilitator. That is very important, friends. Performance reviews, evaluation of learners' application of skills in real world scenario. Of course, this you don't do because you will be moving out. Once your work is over, you will move out, but you have to leave some mechanism that will do the evaluation of the learner's application. As I said, if I'm doing a program of time management, I must tell my organization how will they evaluate whether the persons have understood time management or not. So performance review is very important. Follow-up and reinforcement. Refresher course. They say that when a refresher course is done within 6 months, the impact of the training increases 2 times. If you have had a training, and if you have a refresher course after 2 years, there is no connectivity between the two. It is as good as a fresh training. But when you have a refresher course within 6 months, it reinforces the ideas learned in the first training program. So refresher course, see, if you had a training program for 4 days, a refresher training program could be done in 3 hours. Even then, its impact will be wrong. Coaching and mentoring. Can somebody tell me what is mentoring? What is mentoring?
So I think mentoring can be helping out someone whom you have just trained and helping out with their doubts, with issues, where they
Very good.
find the
Very good.
difficulties.
Very good. Very good. In a typical Indian language, we can say mentoring is a guru shishya parampara. a senior person helping a junior person in all aspects. That's what we call as mentoring. Personalized supposed to help learners apply skills and navigate. I'm sorry. Yeah. So what Mr. Rishabh has said, helping somebody to understand things. That is what we call as mentoring. Learning resources. Access to additional materials and resources for continued learning and development. It's like leaving something behind after the training is over. Training manual, information charts, books or videos, audios, so that the trainees, when they want to have a review, when they want to reinforce the ideas, go back to this material. That is what we call as learning resources. Nowadays, of course, it's easy. You just give the internet links to go there and learn. That's possible. But something has to be given as a follow-up reinforcement. Okay, friends, we'll come to one very important case study. The intention of the case study is one, determinants and constituents of learning styles in manufacturing industry. Today we'll do manufacturing industry. In our next session, we will do financial industry also, financial institute also. And as you know, case studies are very important. And my appeal is, when we are doing case studies, we will be requiring all the learning that we have learned in last 4 sessions, or including what we have learned today. Right. Now, what is the background? Name of the company is Apex Engineering Limited. A very important manufacturing unit in India, known internationally. It is a manufacturing unit. It manufactures automobile parts, spare parts. And look at the size of the employees. It is 1,000 employees. Friends, in today's world of technology, 1,000 employees means a big industry. It's a very big industry. Of course, located at Pune with additional plants in Chennai and Hyderabad. It means it is a trans-India manufacturing unit. Try to understand. Demographic changes, diversities, language changes, everything is coming. Pune has a different culture, Chennai, different culture, Hyderabad, different culture, but only one thing is common. All the three are metropolitan cities. They will share the same work culture. But they're all automotive parts manufacturing. What is the situation? Apex Engineering Limited is a prominent manufacturer of automotive parts in India, faced challenges with its employees training program. I don't know whether you can imagine training 1,000 employees of a manufacturing unit is a gigantic task. It's not easy to train, because you cannot train 1,000 people at a time. At the most, you will train 100 people or maximum 150. Remember, total number of employees is 1,000. So 10 different programs. And then you have to bring a uniformity also. So challenges with employees training program. What are the challenges? The company's existing training methods were primarily uniform and did not cater to the diverse needs of its workforce. Try to understand. Workforce is in Pune, Chennai, Hyderabad. So there is no uniformity of the people. But the company had a uniform training system. I don't say that it was fault of the company. No. Any company will have uniformity. Absolutely no problem. It's not the fault of the company. They had a uniform policy of training. But the challenge is the trainees were not uniform demographically. That was one challenge. What was the result? inconsistencies in skill levels. Now, an employee coming from a rural background, working in Pune, and an employee coming from a rural background working in Chennai, they might be working on the same tool making, but they are coming from two different backgrounds. Their understanding will be different. So productivity issues is there and higher than average turnover rates. Remember one thing, today, when you are working in India, manufacturing an automotive part, you are not just competing with India, you are competing with some manufacturing sitting in China, whose cost of production is quite low, or you are competing with some manufacturing unit situated in United States of America, very efficient, very forward. So your turnover rates have to be internationally competitive. You cannot choose your own international turnover rates. We have been told.
Are we talking about production or the employee turnover?
Everything. We are talking everything.
No, but when we talk about production and then it's higher than the average turnover rates, this is good. But if you talk about employee, this is bad.
No. That is the higher than average turnover rates means the cost. They are talking of cost. It's cost.
Higher than
Not the
average.
numbers.
No, I didn't get it. Please clarify.
See, when there is inconsistency in skill levels and productive issues is there, the cost of production goes up. When the cost of production goes up, your competitive edge reduces. That is what I'm saying. So your competition today, you may be the top manufacturing unit in India, but your competitor is sitting somewhere in China or maybe in USA. Their turnover rates are competing with you. So ultimately what happens, the automobile industry may give you some preference because you are from India, the transportation cost could be less, but ultimately they will weigh the options with the international competition. That is what we are trying to say.
So we are talking about cost.
Yes. Okay, so objective, what was the objective? To explore and understand the determinants and constituents of effective training styles and implement a tailored training approach to improve employee performance and satisfaction in the manufacturing industry in India. Now, what Mr. Ricky Singh was trying to say. See, you have to satisfy the manufacturing industry in India, right? Their automobiles are dependent on the spare parts made by you. That is Apex Engineering. Now, Apex Engineering has to rise to that level of efficiency that is needed on the international arena. So we want to train, we want to impart a training to the employees to understand that they have to be 99.99% efficient. So that overall cost reduces, effectivity is increased, efficiency is increased, everything is increased. That is the objective of the training that was discussed.
Okay.
Determinants of training styles, nature of the work. First, this is now where I was telling you, you have to go back to what we have learned. Technical complexity. What is the technical complexity? Manufacturing process involves complex machinery and technical skills, necessitating training that addresses specific technical requirements. Here, it has an advantage and disadvantage also. What is the advantage? Everything can be measured. It is tangible. If you want 2.5 millimeter, it is 2.5 millimeter only. It can be measured. Now, measuring tools are very accurate. So we need a training that addresses specific technical requirements with hands-on training. But we have to first adjust to the mindset that 2.5 millimeter means 2.5 millimeter. It does not mean 2.51 millimeter. Sorry. 2.51 millimeter, the spare part will be rejected. 2.49 millimeter, the spare part will be rejected. It has to be 2.5 millimeter only. Technical complexity is there, technical accuracy is there. Number two, while doing this, safety requirements is very important. Training must emphasize safety protocol due to the high risk nature of manufacturing environment. You know, all these big industries sitting internationally, they want a safety, audit. Not only safety. We went to one company where we had to tell about human rights audit. They talk whether the human rights are taken care of or not. Human rights means after 8 hours rest, within 8 hours, 1 hour rest, within 8 hours, tea facilities, washroom facilities, all this. So safety requirements, when you are manufacturing some spare parts, what are the safety arrangements done? And so you have to train the employees and also the employer about the safety requirements. Then the second one is what we call a human-centric approach. Employee demographics, diverse workforce. Employees of this industry, which is located at 3 different centers of India, come from various educational backgrounds and have different levels of technical expertise. Training must cater to both skilled technicians and entry-level workers. See, that try to understand. Skilled means somebody who has spent at least 3 or 4 months in apex engineering. He or she understands the qualitative standards, the efficiency standards, the safety standards. And there is somebody who has recently joined. Now, recently joined does not mean he can manufacture a bolt of 2.51 millimeter. Even a newly inducted worker has to address to that requirement of 2.5 millimeter. That's all. So, but when we are training, we have to cater to the person who is already skilled, and we have to cater to the requirement of understanding of a person who has recently joined, who may say, "Ki farak penda hai, 2.5 or 2.51, 0.01 millimeter, 1/10 of a millimeter for an ordinary person is nothing. But in an automobile industry, 0.1 millimeter is quite different. So that he has to take care. Geographical differences. Employees across different regions may have varied learning preferences and access to different resources. Again, as we said, the trainer has to look at the different demographic differences and cultural differences and geographical differences also. These are the challenges. Training objectives. Skill enhancement. Training aims to enhance technical skills related to machinery operation and maintenance and production techniques. All the three. This whosoever is giving training has to take care of all the three aspects. Compliance and certification, ensuring that employees are up to date with industry standards and regulatory requirements. What I was talking about, the human rights audits, safety audits, they are called as regulatory requirements. And how much raw material is wasted to manufacture one bolt. That all speaks about all the efficiency standards. So skill enhancement, compliance, and certification. Try to understand, friends, this is what we are discussing before starting the training. Before we impart training, we have to understand all this. Organizational culture. Support for learning, the culture of our continuous improvement and learning within the organization affects how training is embraced and implemented. Resource availability, the availability of resources and management support influences the effectiveness of the training program. We have said different institutions have different cultures. Now, this institution is a manufacturing industry. It may have its own culture. And before imparting the training, the trainers did have a communication with them that what kind of environment is prevalent in the industry and what kind of resources, support to the trainees is available. Okay. Constituents of training styles that was adopted. What were the content? technical manuals and documentation. Detailed guides were prepared on machinery, production process, and safety procedures. Before actual training could start, what did they prepare? Technical manuals and documentation and circulated. Now, this is not with me, whether they were circulated in bilingual or a single language. But effort was made to see that the employees, the trainees, understand what is the intention of the training is. Then help was also taken of visual aids, diagrams, charts, videos that explain complex processes and machinery operations. Remember one thing sometimes. In the Indian roads, many times the scooter or motorcycle riders don't wear helmets, thinking that रोज accident कहाँ होता है. But in the manufacturing units, you cannot work without protective gears. Now a newly inducted employee has to understand that the accident may take place once in 100 days. But in that one day, the accident could create 100% fatality, 100% loss of life, one day accident. So every day you have to be prepared to face the challenges of accidents. That has to be explained to the newly inducted trainees and newly inducted employees. Training contents. Training methods. Now, 3 training methods were adopted. Classroom training, traditional lectures, and theoretical instruction to provide foundational knowledge. Naturally, when the training started, the trainees and the chief managers of a particular shop came, delivered lectures, small lectures, 20 minutes, 15 minutes lectures. What is our intention? So it was a classroom training. Then hands-on training, practical exercises and simulations to apply skills in a controlled environment. As I told you, 2.5 millimeter. Now, the difference between 2.49 and 2.51 and 2.5, this has to be explained. It can be explained with practical experience. Once you explain to it that a 2.49 is too loose, 2.51 is too tight, both are useless, both are wasted products. The only thing we need is 2.5 mm, that's all. Now, this has to be explained with hands-on training in a controlled environment. Controlled environment means the product that you are they are asking you, the trainees to design, will not be used. But he or she will understand what is the importance of accuracy in measurement. On-the-job training, real-world experience where employees learn by performing their job tasks under supervision. This piece of equipment produced can be taken into the real life situation also under expert supervision. So the teaching, the training is complete, that you have come from the classroom environment, from the control environment to actual life environment. The training is complete, the aim is complete, and the objectives are realized. Training delivery. Instructor-led sessions, face-to-face training conducted by experienced instructors to guide employees through the material. Face-to-face training conducted by the experienced instructors to guide the employees through material. This is first. Second is e-learning. As I said, after the training is over and a trainee wants to go back, reinforce what he or she has learned. So online modules and interactive courses that offer flexibility and accessibility for employees. It means after the training is complete, the person has joined the shop floor work again, and there he understands that this and this safety precautions were to be taken, and he might have some confusion. So he can go back to e-learning, go back to online module, or go back to interactive course online with flexibility of accessibility and timing. So that will reinforce what the trainee has to learn. Effectivity of the training will increase. Blended training, a combination of in-person and online training method to address diverse learning preferences. Try to understand. A manufacturing unit cannot spare a worker for long hours, for long period, because his manufacturing activity will be affected. So for a particular session, say for example, one day, the employee was spared for 8 hours. So for 8 hours, number of sessions the employee has learned. But after that, what? So after that, in his leisure time, the training method can impact or connect for 1 hour or 1.5 hours. During his or her leisure time, the modules are online, he can just interact. So the training continues beyond the stipulated time frame. Blended learning, it is called. Feedback and evaluation. Performance assessments, regular evaluation to measure the effectiveness and training and identify areas for improvement. This is very common. We understand through feedback area of improvement for the employees, area of improvement for the employer, area of improvement for the trainer. A feedback addresses the three constituents of the important training. Employee feedback, collecting input from employees to understand their training experiences and make necessary adjustments. As I had said, it's not just a challenge for the employee, it is a challenge for the trainer also to make necessary adjustments in the training, in the delivery of the training, in the constituency of the training, and everything, all dimensions related with the training protocol. Implementation and outcome. Now, this is where conducted a comprehensive need analysis to identify the specific training requirements based on job roles, technical complexity, and employee demographics. Comprehensive need analysis. Why the training is important? And what are the impediments on the way to achieve efficiency? What are the roadblocks? Why a trainee is not able to understand? Sometimes language problems can also come. Language problem is a big issue, especially for the employees on the shop floor. Many of them are not highly educated. They may not be knowing more than one language other than their mother tongue. So how do we connect with them? So we are try to understand employee demographic also. Designed a blended training program incorporating visual aids, hands-on practice, and technical manuals and e-learning manuals. This comes from here. The comprehensive need analysis to identify the specific training requirements. It comes from there. So how do we blend training program incorporating visual aids, hands-on practice, and technical manuals? Pilot program, number 2. Launched a pilot training program in a Pune facility because headquarters is in Pune, integrating classroom instruction, practical workshops, and e-learning components. Try to understand. A pilot program for a small section of the employees at the headquarters so that the possibility of understanding the impact of the training is very much there. All the resources are there. Decision-making facilities are also there. So we started a pilot training program at the headquarters. Collected feedback from the participants and managers to assess the effectiveness of different training methods and make adjustments. We have seen the different training methods. Now, we took that feedback not only from the trainings, but also managers' effectiveness of the training methods, different training methods. And once we get the feedback, we made adjustments. Full implementation, rolled out revised training program across all facilities or facilities, incorporating lessons learned from the pilot program. We just had seen last one. Took feedback from the trainees and also managers. Once that was received, then full implementation at Pune, Hyderabad, and Chennai. Established a continuous feedback mechanism and performance assessment system to ensure ongoing improvements and relevance. Continuous feedback mechanism. Online, offline, both. So friends, that is the case study. If any questions are there, we can just have interaction and then yes, the session is open for questions.
Sure. I was listening throughout. Like I said, I'm already traveling, so a bit of disturbance. So I was not there on camera for the whole time. But I listened to the entire case study. So yes, that is very rightly said by you that in manufacturing unit that हम उनको spare नहीं कर सकते हैं बहुत लंबे time के लिए सभी workers को एक साथ नहीं कर सकते हैं. Can you please throw some light on how to make this understand to the client कि ठीक है हम उनको spare नहीं कर सकते हैं but अगर हम training के लिए time नहीं निकालेंगे तो training होगी भी नहीं.
Yes, yes, sir. Very good, very good, very good
तो
question.
सर इस question के ऊपर अगर आप अपना कुछ insight share करेंगे तो अच्छा.
Yes, very good question. Because some people feel that the time invested, time and money invested on training is waste. Like some people, they feel that time invested for safety is a waste. I have experienced this. People say, oh, one day for training, so much of production will be lost. And we have to pay them salary also. But friends, when we learn driving, so it's not just easy and enough to understand how to drive a car. What is more important, what to do when an emergency comes. Driving a car is very simple. You put your foot on the accelerator, and when you have to stop the car, you apply the brakes. But the question is, you are speeding it at a speed of 100 kilometers per hour, and animal comes across the road. What to do? Now, it starts with the brain. We tell, first of all, keep quiet, keep cool. Arey baap re, don't say that. Keep cool, number one. Number two, look at the speed. Number three, look at the space, whether you can really apply the brakes or circumvent the dog, whatever it is. And then come to the technicalities, how to reduce the speed. All this is a part of training. So what Shivani has asked, how do we impress the clients that this training is important? So first thing, take a feedback first. Do what we call as a questionnaire. Ask the employer to have a small interactive session with the employees with a quiz. Are you happy with your safety norms? Questionnaire. Are you happy with your efficiency levels? Question. Do you think a training is needed? Such questions. And suppose out of 100 employees, 90 employees say, yes, I need a training. It means the industry must immediately design a training for them. Number one. Number two, what kind of training you desire? Interactive, one way, online? These are the questions. These are the, this is a survey that will not only bring out the truth, but also help you to impress upon the organization to understand the importance of training. So this is how we design. Is that clear?
We have a separate case.
Shivani, madam?
Yeah, may I? Hello?
Yes, sir, please.
We had a...
Yes, come on.
We approached, there's a company called Swaraj Mazda. we approach them, and since they have employees working in the shifts, and when you talk about their betterment, there are not much of trainings are there. So we propose them of the personal effectiveness trainings, and how to improve how to reduce the stress level and everything. I had approached the head HR. His answer was yes. What is the cost? I said we can reduce it as per your convenience. Let's not talk about the cost. But the only thing is that once you get it done, you will be able to understand how important it is for your employees and the well-being of your employees. He said we've got a in-house doctor which can suggest something. So we would like to have a word with him, and the discussion hold there. And I was surprised that what will a doctor will do with this, because talking about stress levels and work scenarios, doctor may not know that. Doctor can give you a clinical thing. And then we also felt, because approaching them was time and again, it was pretty difficult, because 3-4 times we did. So we finally felt, nahi karte to mat kare, let's leave it. And we had to actually close that down. So what can be the proposal? What can be your solution for such requirement? Because see, HR manager plays a lot of role, and I realize they make or break, the entire thing. So the owner may not be involved, they don't know a lot of things, but at plant level, they know. And in manufacturing, they have a very major role to play. So what do you suggest on this?
First of all, I accept what you tried to do. That was very correct. You tried to impress upon me. Number two, the best way to do is go back to the records. In absence of training, what can happen? And a company that invests in training, how it benefits. See, the proof of pudding lies in eating it. Now, somebody who has not seen
discussion
drop in performance, somebody who has not seen the
question.
Yeah. So, Mr. Singh, as you said, that it is the duty of the HR manager to impress upon the owner the importance of the training. Yes, I agree with it. Absolutely, I agree. If the HR manager is not inclined towards training, it is difficult for the owner to understand the importance of training. Now, with the record available, we can only impress upon the HR manager. Or if it is possible, we can show the HR manager a survey report before training, a feedback before training, and a feedback after training. If after looking at the two feedbacks, like feedback before the training, some employees will say, our confidence level was very low. And after the training, the same employee is saying, my confidence level went up. Try to understand. That enhancement of confidence level is priceless for the industry, for the organization. It is priceless, I'm saying. You cannot put any price on that. Like we say, a happy employee, a pilot coming to the airport whose father has died previous day in a heart attack, may not be in a very good mental setup. So, like that, a happy employee is an asset to the organization who's happy because of the training. So his sense of belonging. So these methods may impress upon the HR manager. But I'm telling you one thing, we do face such conditions where the HR manager says no to training. He says, what? Waste of time, waste of money. So such a person has closed his mind, closed the doors for all new learning. You cannot do with anything with such person. You have to wait for the person to open the doors of his mind. You have to wait. Otherwise, the two surveys will help us. Yes, Mr. Rishabh Gogia.
Sir, I totally agree upon that. And as Ricky ji also said, that HR managers are more concerned with the cost. So justifying the cost is very difficult. I am also facing the same. I'm working with a training company right now, and our client is a very huge automotive client. So it's an automotive giant, by the way. So the thing is that they have asked us to do 3 sessions in a day, where they want us to do classroom sessions, on the job training, hands-on session in 1.5 to 2 hours. So that becomes a very difficult job to explain the client that all these things are not possible. Given the retention of these salespeople, so that is very difficult. So how do we actually manage those things in 2.5 hours of training? What all things should we focus upon, given that the participants are salespeople? So these people are already selling cars. They're already doing whatever they can, but as trainers, how can I add value as per the retainer program? So they already have internal trainers, but what value can I add to justify to that particular thing is my question.
I will say that you should get back to your previous experience, positive experience, somewhere else, wherever you have done a training program. As I told you, before the training and after the training. So when you bring that idea, that the proof of that training, that before I went for training, this was the performance level. After I went for training, this was the performance level. Now, performance level could be happiness, confidence, no accidents, higher efficiency in selling, or it could be anything. That has to be brought into the notice of the HR manager. Ultimately, it is for the manager to take a decision. And slowly and steadily, people are now realizing the importance of training. People pay 1,000, forget about industry. I know, like Shiv Kheda's training program, the costs are 45,000 rupees. And individuals go and pay that for just to have a positive approach. We have had training programs where we were asking people to pay 15,000 rupees to become effective person in your effective life, personal life. People would pay, and then they would send other people. Now, as I said, the result of our training has to be what you call can be brought into the notice of the tangible. They have to be tangible. Now, whenever you go for a training with the permission of the organization, try to maintain these records, or a survey before training, survey after training, and try to get a copy of that survey report or result of the survey with you, that you can show. As I said, ultimately, it's up to the HR manager to accept that survey report before training and after training, and decide on that survey report. If he or she has some rationality, she will address. Now, question comes, how much money they can spare? This could be a problem, how much money or how much time they can spare. We have to adjust with that kind of budget and with that kind of timing. We have to make an adjustment because they're our client. We are only doing a service to them. Because sometimes we have to understand their helplessness also. So recently I was with a very 5-star hotel in Nagpur. Now, when I do a training for positive thinking, I need 3 hours for one session, a group of 30 students. So this hospital told me, no, we can give only 1.5 hours. I said, okay, let me try to design and come back. So at home, I'll try to understand how I can reduce the timing from 3 hours or to 1 hour, 1.5 hours. Try to understand. If I'm not ready to reduce my timing from 3 hours to 1.5 hours, I will lose that client. Now, that will not benefit anyone. It is neither beneficial to me nor to the hospital. So I must have the expertise to reduce from 3 hours to 1.5 hours without compromising the quality of training. That is a challenge. So as you rightly said, how do we do it? That is a challenge. Now, there is no panacea for that. Every case is different, and we have to accept the challenge
Translate
and
and-
tailor. That we can do. Yes. I hope I have answered your question, Mr. Bhogia.
Yes, yes, I got this topic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. So, just rejecting because they are not adhering to our standards is not a good idea. You have to come down 2 steps, ask them to come up 2 steps. Somewhere in between we can meet. That is important. Okay, friends, unless any other question is there. We can call it off a day. Okay. Thank you, friends. So we end the session here, and we'll have more case studies next time connected with this, and then we'll have another session. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.